Today I would like to talk to you guys about reasons to adopt foster children. To start, some people think of adoption only as an option to use if they have problems having their own kids, but over 300,000 foster kids in the U.S. wish that they were regarded as more than a second or third choice. In fact, if one family in every 3 churches across America adopted a child, there would no longer be any orphans. Today I want to share 3 reasons to adopt a foster child. There is a substantial need for it in our society. It is more financially possible than people believe, and it helps these children with emotional and developmental problems. First, there is a huge need for adoption in society. Statistics show that 415,129 children in foster care in 2014 are in the foster care system. This is according to the Adoption and Foster Care Analysis and Reporting System from 2012. There are more foster kids than there are homes that they can be placed in until they are adopted. In the report, there was only about 50,000 kids who are waiting to be adopted out of those 400,000. It's true that the foster care system has negatives and difficulties due to all the children, but we should not believe all of the negative stigmas about adoption and the children that are in foster care. The average age of foster kids is about 9 years old. Over the years, about 5,000 kids run away from the foster care system. If more people were involved with fostering or adopting these kids, they might not run away to the streets because they would have the option of being part of a family. Secondly, people are worried about adoption and the financial cost. If you try fostering a child before you adopt them, you can receive some reimbursement from the state. You usually get about $400 a month. This is according to the Child Welfare Manual from 2013. I also found a variety of resources that are available to parents after they adopt these kids, because I know $400 a month isn't very much when you have a child. There are things like adoption tax credit that helps make adoption more affordable by using tax exemption, and you can also get grants, loans, employer benefits, and different types of tax credits. The Child Welfare Information Gateway is a place where I found a lot of information about resources you could use to make it more affordable once you're fostering a child or if you had already adopted one. Adopting through foster care can sometimes be less expensive because you don't have to go through an adoption agency or you don't have to hire a lawyer, so then there are less fees. Fertility treatments are also sometimes used before adoption, but they can be more expensive, especially when you're using things such as in vitro, which can cost up to $8,000 per round you do. The third point I'd like to address is the emotional and developmental effects of growing up in foster care. Researchers estimate that 30 to 80% of children in foster care have signs of emotional and/or behavioral problems due to the experiences before they went into foster care or after. However, they also conducted a survey on foster kids and found that they still rated their experience of foster care and adoption as positive. So these kids are saying that although they're in a hard situation and they feel like they didn't have anyone there for them, they ended up enjoying being with these new families, and they felt that they had a good support system. So in conclusion, most people would say that adoption is too expensive, and it is true that there are some costs to it. My pastor Dave has spoken about his kids Amelia and Danny before, and I've helped babysit them. They felt called to adopt, and they said it was because as believers we should all be called to help orphans or kids in need in some way. Whether it's helping to babysit, help with groceries or buying clothes, or even maybe just financially donating. It's been really cool to watch that family change over time because of adding those 2 kids. Their biological son Tobin has gotten so close to Danny, and it's really cute to watch them together playing and be best friends. The same can be said about their 2 daughters. Dave and Danielle have talked about how difficult it was at first because Danny had no discipline from his mom, or she didn't teach him to listen, so at first they had problems with him misbehaving. And they said that it was a lot of hard work, and they had to use a lot of patience to go through fostering Danny and Amelia for almost 2 years. But recently they just officially adopted them, and they've been really excited. At church last Sunday, when I asked Danny about his new name, he said it was Daniel Koontz, and he was so happy. It was really adorable. I also grew up without a dad, and when my stepdad Joe adopted me when I was 10, I was glad to have someone choose to be my parent. So when you see how adoption improves these kids' lives, the cost is worth it. And as I've discussed before, foster care adoption is much less expensive than other options. There are also plenty of resources that can help with the cost once you add another child to the family. And the benefits of opening your home to a child who is in need of love and support is what will drive you through the process of adoption. And then this is a picture of the family, and that's Danny and that's Amelia. Those are the two that got adopted.